Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's Trevor Stockwell here today, along with my guest, Lynn. Now, Lynn has many talents. She coaches entrepreneurs and business owners to help them transform themselves and push them through their comfort zones. And she uses her marketing expertise to help them get a fresh perspective on their brand and help them get it out there. She's an entrepreneur, she's a speaker, a journalist, and she's the author of the book, Break Those Damn Rules. Lots of other things I could say about Lynn, but that's just a nice taste. So let's hear more from her. Welcome, Lynn Erasmus.
Hi, it's so nice to have you. Thank you so much.
No, it's great to have the opportunity to chat with you. Maybe for the people that haven't yet had the opportunity and the pleasure of meeting Lynn Erasmus, tell us a little bit about your journey or your background that's brought you to where you are today.
Phew, okay. Well, I'm currently in Edinburgh, the UK, but I'm from South Africa. In South Africa, I used to have my own newspaper, which I complemented with events, and we specifically focused on entrepreneurs. That was our focus. That eventually evolved into coaching. I just, how do we say it? I had an awakening where I was just working from working crazy hours, like 80 hours a week, never seeing my family, and all of a sudden I had like, that's it. I can't live like this anymore. There must be more to life than just this.
Yeah.
And then I started the coaching, and yeah, it was just such a beautiful process for me. It was a very transformational period in my life, and I think it was all about discovering my worth, and for the first time I actually charged what I knew I was worth. And it was scary in the beginning, I must tell you, because you sit there in the boardroom and you're putting up this big proposal, and got to try not to blink when they ask you for the price. And the secret is literally in don't blink, do not blink. And then it's getting them to accept, and you're like, yes, I got it, I've got this.
Yeah.
And I actually became the consultant for the business chamber in my city, where I coached their business members on marketing and branding. But it evolved more in like, a holistic coaching. You know how it is.
Yeah.
People come in for a marketing makeover, and they walk out there with a complete life transformational process.
Absolutely.
Yes, and then we had a home invasion, and we just knew it's time to pack our bags and say goodbye to everything and everyone that we love, which was extremely hard.
Yeah.
For anyone who's ever had to start over again in a new country with little kids. It's insane. And we did it twice. We arrived in the Netherlands, and 5 months later we packed up again and came to the UK. But yeah, that's the life, we evolve. You gotta move, you gotta grow to get to the next stage of your life. And I think that's the exciting part.
Absolutely.
So that's where I am now.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I like what you said about the coaching element. I think for people that aren't coaches, they don't understand the power of the coaching process and the benefits they can get. And when you're a coach, you can't resist giving people the opportunity of finding that next step, that extra level, however you want to put it. Because you know that is the fundamental thing that will change whatever the discussion was about originally. Yeah, marketing.
I know that is interesting. I always find it so fascinating to when they came in for one thing and they came up with something completely different.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah. But that's, in the end, that's what people need, isn't it?
Yes.
It's more than just the knowledge. It's the transformation through the coaching process of discovering these are the things that are holding me back. These are the things that I actually need to address, and the fact that I can be held accountable. I can set goals and plans and everything. So that's really good. I've seen the benefit myself. That's why I got into coaching as well. And it makes perfect sense to me. Maybe for people,
there we go. I love that.
Yeah, but people that aren't tuning in to hear coaching at the moment, as good as it is, let me plumb your expertise on marketing, just from the perspective that you've got this kind of catchphrase: make anyone fall in love with your brand through storytelling. So I'm intrigued. Unwrap that a little bit for us, can you?
Well, for me, a journalist at heart, I think storytelling comes naturally. I've seen the power of how a story can change a person's life. And that's actually why I decided to study journalism. Was for me, it was the freedom of expression. It was the ability to share the untold stories that no one hears. Because there's so many unsung heroes out there. And I think that is ultimately a journalist's main job, is to tell those unsung heroes, to celebrate them, to bring equal light to a world where it's ruled by social media. Social media is like everyone is an expert. With the I think that for me was always the secret, the beauty of the storytelling of us as a human race. How connected we are by sharing a story. Make anyone fall in love with you by telling them truly who you are, where you come from, and why you're here, and how you're going to change their lives.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
If you are brave enough and honest enough to share your weaknesses that we all try and plaster, we try to pretend that we are such perfect human beings. We're not. We are so imperfect. And that is the beauty of the human race, that we are completely imperfect, and we are actually here to complement each other. And your success is my success. My success is your success. And I think that's an important message we need to try and instill out there, to try to remember to bring the little guy up with you,
Yeah.
We quickly want to race to the top, and we work hard, I've been there. I've been that selfish person who raced right to the top, and I was like, right, I'm here. I worked hard. How about you guys? Did you also work hard? Well, you're going to work hard, so you can't come and sit up here with me. And guess what? My ego quickly got in the way. My head got this big, and I got a needle pinched in it, and it exploded, and my entire world collapsed.
Yeah.
Because I was not connected. I didn't stay humble. I didn't bring that little guy up with me and share my stage, share my successes with those who needed it, And that was part of my story. And I think that is important for us to remember as businesses, is your reputation. What is the stories that people tell about you when you're not in the room? What are they saying about you? What are they saying what is your staff? That's actually the scariest thing. What is your staff saying about you and your business when they're sitting in a restaurant or around the pub drinking a couple of pints of beer? What are they saying? What are they saying about you? So you gotta make sure that the stories that are told is going to make them love you. And, so you don't have to go and tell your own story so everyone can fall in love with you, but it's by sharing your wealth, your secrets to success. Share it with the guy next door, and you don't have to go and tell everyone. If you want to, great, But what are the people What are others saying when you're not in the room? I think that was one of the most important lessons I've learned from the early years in business, is to always make sure that the stories you tell and the stories others say about you match. Yeah, it's a fine line to walk to make sure that you always stay up there on the straight and narrow. Break a couple of rules here and there, but as long as it's some bad rules, not the good rules.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about your book in a little bit, actually, for a bit of clarity on that. But no, that all makes sense. I think you're right. It's having the courage, I suppose, to be authentic and human in a professional way, but authenticity isn't an excuse to be haphazard, is it? There's a professional with a business, but within that, if we're so branded to perfection that people don't relate, people don't see who we really are.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's where we can easily miss it because of the expectations of social media or whatever, the comparisons of other organizations and their brands and all of this. We're fighting for someone's attention, but it's using a story, our story.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the storytelling is the oldest form of marketing. I mean, look at your even in the Roman empires, with the gladiators, they would go around and spread the rumors about the king who's spending all this money on the people and spreading give them free wine, and that was free PR. He was building up storytelling. Yeah, he had a good thing going because he made sure that they had a couple of pints in them, so they will tell extra good stories.
Yeah.
So, are you keeping your customers happy? Are you keeping your suppliers happy? What are they saying about you?
Yeah.
How are you making them feel? Very important.
They can be our best brand ambassadors, really, can't they? Because the more we appreciate people know if you appreciate them or not, generally, don't they?
100%.
Yeah, if you're just in it for the sale, and then next, there's no. I don't think there's integrity in that. Some people operate that way. That's down to their values and how they decide to do it. But I think once you find people that are authentic and are interested in your well-being as well as, money involved, you have to be in business. You have to make money. There's ways of doing it, isn't there?
Yes, and I think there's a big misconception about being authentic and being honest and being straightforward and being vulnerable enough, so being human. And there's almost a misconception that if you are all of those, then you are not successful and you're not going to have a lot of money, or you cannot charge what you want to. I think that's the complete opposite, because if you live in your truth and you know that what you are adding to the world, if your business and company is actually solving a problem, they should be grateful to do business with you. It's not just a case of, oh, please do business with me. I'm such a nice person. I'm so authentic. It's no, I'm authentic. I'm great. I'm helping you. We're helping each other. There's no shame in charging the fees that you want to charge, because what you're going to give them is value for their money. There's an exchange of it must be a win-win for the client as well as for the person who's providing the service, and that's the biggest problem I've noticed in business, is that misconception that to be honest, you can't really charge what you want. For me, that's the complete opposite. I now charge way more because I'm now authentic. I'm now offering real value versus what I was before. I was just chasing my tail, just trying to make everyone happy and grab a little bit here, grab a little bit there. I wasn't truthful in who I was and what I was offering,
Yeah. I like that, because that brings us nicely into the next area that I was going to tap your expertise on, and that's around mindset, because I know you talk a lot about mindset, and you help people work through discovering what a wrong mindset is and then steps towards sorting it out, really, basically. Unpack that a little bit, because I know you can focus specifically on business owners, but also students as well.
Yes.
With some of the speaking that you've done.
Yes. I actually just completed my keynote talk for students. This one's specifically for students, where it's focused on especially those that are finishing high school, so they're moving into the next stage of their life. It's big. It's a game-changing moment. And I was just thinking back of all my key game-changing moments throughout my life. It was a split second, and I made a decision, and I had to live for quite a few years with that one decision that you make. You know, it's crucial to take stock of where you are right now, and to think, this is a game-changing moment that's right in front of me. What am I going to do? Where am I going? And I think as the youth, they are incredibly conflicted at the moment. I don't think it's just the youth. I think the entire world, we are in two minds. We are completely conflicted the entire time, you know. And take COVID, for example. On the one hand, we got to make these sacrifices to protect those that are vulnerable. But on the other hand, you're also conflicted because you're like, oh, I need to get out there. I need to do business. We need to carry on with life. So it's conflicted, you know, because you've got two very strong opposing views running inside your head, inside your mind the whole time. And which one do you go for? The bad one, the good one? Is it bad? Is it good? Which one is it? You know, who's to say? So I think it's important to get from a young age to realize your own self-worth. And that started with a little lie that I told myself from a young age. So from a little girl, my mum committed suicide when I was 5. And as a little girl growing up with that knowledge, it was always that you're not good enough. You know, I couldn't be that amazing. I couldn't be that special for her to have stick around and bring me up into the world, you know. So that, and it became a lie because I told myself I wasn't good enough. I told myself that I wasn't lovable enough. I wasn't special enough. And that's how I lived. And I became this person where I just seek attention and I seek love in all the wrong places because I needed that. I needed to be valued. I needed to feel like I matter, that I am special enough for someone in this life. And then obviously that takes you down a very bad path, you know, because of just one little lie that you tell yourself. And that becomes your a rule because it's your belief system. And the belief system it becomes a rule. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this message of you got to break those rules. You got to break those rules that keeps you small. You know, it's time to take off all this masks and break down those walls and love, be abundant, be beautiful, be brave, be courageous, be crazy. Who cares? You know, you're not going to be for everyone. No, not everyone's going to like you. Is it going to end? Is the world going to end because no one likes you or everyone's not liking you? No.
Yeah.
You don't fit in everywhere. So what? You are probably 10 to 1. I think that's why I've got such an affinity with entrepreneurship because it allows you the freedom to be crazy. It allows you to be out of the box, you know, to start new things and go to the next one and start another business. You know, it's the freedom. You don't have to be rigid and stay in your lane. Don't forget that all the time. Stay in your lane. Yes, stay in your lane. I don't want to stay in this lane. I've got a couple of lanes I want to do. No, you must stay in the one lane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened up until about 3.5 years ago. So it took me a long time to get to the realization of breaking the rules. But with it comes a beautiful transformation because for once you get to see who you are. And once you see that and you love yourself, oh my goodness, you're untouchable, you're unstoppable. There's nothing in this world that you cannot achieve. There's nothing you cannot do.
Yeah.
And that's the power of a mindset of realizing your own worth, and not being shamed into silence, because that's what happens all the time on a daily basis. We get shamed into silence, shamed into submission. Who are you? You come from that neighborhood. That neighborhood's bad. You can't come and sit here with us in this nice area. You must stay there. Your parents are that. You look like that. You don't fit into this mold.
Yeah.
And we start believing all these little stories that's been being placed upon us and what we've been telling ourselves. And I think that's important to break.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to clarify for the listeners, the rules that that Lynn is
it's the lies you told yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's the
don't go and break laws, please. Don't go and break rules. Don't go and break the rules that government and your schools have been instructed you to give. It's your own rules. It's your own. It's the little stories that become it is a lie that become a story that becomes a rule, and that is what you need to break. You need to break free from that and realize your own beautiful self. How absolutely amazing you are and how lucky you are to be here on earth.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're right as well. It's like the prejudice, the criticizing comments from other people, it's all born from an insecurity from their point of view, isn't it? Their own rules or mindsets, whatever it is that's broken and not quite fixed and sorted in their perspective is then what's shifted and communicated to other people. We're all working, aren't we? We're all working through the issues, the past to get to the point where we love ourselves, but then also we love other people as well. Yeah, and it is a journey, isn't it? You're right.
It is, but it also, how can you love others if you don't love yourself? It's if you look back at the times those that are cruel, it's because they hate themselves, and most of the time when you find bullying, it takes place from the one that bully another. It's because they see something in them that they want, because they don't have that.
Yeah.
And they want to take that away from that person because they're angry and frustrated and hurt because they don't have that something special that person has. So they try to break it down because they cannot have it. They cannot understand, why does that person have it and I don't?
Yeah.
So it's anyway. So it's a journey.
No, you're right. And the other thing I like that you touched on, the whole element of potential. And it's like every time I think about potential, it makes me smile, because it's like we're never going to exhaust our potential, are we? There's just no way that we're going to get to the end of it.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it also means that, okay, so if there's no limit to my potential, I don't have to try and squash you or other people around to compete, because if I just focus on developing myself and then reaching out to others in expressing that, I'll let you work out and sort out your way while I'm finding mine. But together, that's the way it works, isn't it?
I love that. Yes, you're so right, because when you're so busy working on yourself, you don't have time to go and criticize other people. Because working on yourself takes a lot of time and effort and courage, because we are not born very very nice people, we want everything. So it's a constant challenge to stay good.
Yeah. I'd love to chat about that a lot more, but I also want to talk to you about so one of the ways you help to not only help business owners and entrepreneurs, but yourself as well, to change the mindset is through visualization, picturing what you want to bring forward. Unwrap that a bit for us, could you?
Oh, it's so important. And I think a lot of people misunderstand it because they think it's wishy-washy. It's, oh gosh, this person is talking crazy things. But you look back at your childhood when you used to just lie on the grass and look at the sky, and your mind would just go, and you would make up clouds and make up stories and figures, and in your mind would just drift into something else. And most of the time you were at peace. Most of the time you were playful, you were creative. And it's in that moment where all these bright ideas come forth. And as an adult, I think we almost like, stop dreaming, stop daydreaming. You got to get real. This is reality.
Yeah.
And daydreaming is for children. How old are you? Like trying to shame you again. How old are you? Daydreaming is for children. It's not. It's where the creative process lies, is in that stillness, that magical moment of just being quiet and just breathe, and then you get to see, plan your. I love doing my visualization in the mornings of just this is how I want my day to go, because it sets you up, it prepares you for the day ahead. You got to have that quiet time where it's just you and whatever you believe in, if it's spirit, source, God, you, whatever energy. It's a connection with your inner being to plan your day ahead and plan your life ahead. We are creating our own realities. We are creating our own worlds every single minute by just having a thought. We are creating, and then we speak, and that's why it's so important to watch what you say. It's absolutely lost. We got lost there on the internet.
Sorry, yeah.
So visualization for me is 100% one of the most important things that you can do in your business. Because if you cannot imagine yourself in that position, if you cannot imagine yourself getting that big contract, then you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. It's not just going to land on your lap. You need to be able to see it. You must be able to believe that you are capable of having this. You're worthy of having these wonderful things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for me it's gold. It's gold, and I don't understand how more people are not doing it. It's like, it's for free. Anyone can do it. You don't need to be a millionaire to do it. It doesn't come instantaneously, but it's it helps. It's just, even if just to keep you in a grounded position and keep your energy levels high, and get you excited for the future. And it will come, guaranteed, will come.
Yeah, it's all about being intentional, isn't it? About things. I think in lots of ways, going back to what we were talking about earlier, like self-sabotaging mindsets that keep us trapped. We then deal with those through distractions or ignoring them, and we don't face it, we don't work through it. Whereas the other side of it is, if you're intentional about, this is the stuff that I want to bring forth, this is where I want to aim, there is so much power in there, isn't it? And that is a lot of the time where potential is lost, because we're not consistent and we're not focused enough on thinking about and dreaming enough. I guess it goes back to what you said. We allow other people to talk us out of being curious, imagining and dreaming, and then believing that, why can't that happen? Yeah, no.
That's actually one of the first things I tell my young entrepreneurs. Once you've got that business idea, you do not tell a soul. Don't tell anyone, because that's human nature. Especially if you don't come from a very advantaged background, the people that you're around, that you live around, is probably also quite negative and also disadvantaged. Your mindset is one of lack and poverty and restrictions. So when you come and tell them, I've got this dream, I want to start my own business, they're like, what do you know about that? You don't know anything about it. I'm like, yeah, but I can learn. No, you'll never make it. And then they believe them and stop. And then they go and do jobs that they hate and live a life that they absolutely abhor.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't be quiet.
You're right. That's one of the big things that we trip over, isn't it? Like, if if we then tell our business idea to somebody that's in that niche, in that sector, in that industry, and they're successful, and they say, actually, no, it's not going to work, maybe it makes sense to listen. But yeah,
Yes.
you're right. 99.9% of the time, it's not those people that try and talk us out of it, is it?
No,
Um,
it's always the strangers that say, yeah, that's great, that's a good idea, you must do it. And then the ones that you are closest with, don't do it. Nah, it's not worth it. You're going to embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself. You're going to fail. You know what? That for me is my biggest achievements, is all my failures. And I actually got quite a negative, quite a few negative responses from there. Like, oh, if you say you're such a good entrepreneur, but you failed so many times, I'm like, damn right I have. It's because I failed so many times. Because you can only learn through all those many mistakes that you've made, you know?
yeah.
Valuable lessons that no book or YouTube video can ever teach you. Because you had to make that own mistake, you know? You got to learn that lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my main mentors, John Maxwell, one of the things he says is, don't worry if you fail, he said, because it tells me you're still in the game.
100%.
That's
I love that. Yes, you're still in the game, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's been amazing chatting with you. I think you should definitely come back, just because I'm enjoying it, and I'm sure everybody else listening is enjoying it as well. Before we wrap it up, though, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, whether they want to explore the coaching element, or whether they want to grab the book, or just reach out to you some way? What would be website first?
Yes, I think the easiest would just be my website. All my contact details are on there. It's just www.lynnerasmus.com.
Okay.
It's LYNNERASMUS.com. So it's easy. That's probably the best way. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We'll put a link below as well, so people can follow through on that. Any next steps? Another book coming, or anything that you were allowed to talk? Obviously, if it's in the early stages, don't say it, because people might criticize. But just
I'm one of those hummers. I've got so many. Do you see all these electrical cords popping out of my mind? I'm one of those. So yes, I've got another book I'm working on, and I just launched my keynote for schools, and I've just 2 more touches up for my entrepreneur keynote talk, and then I've got another business in the pipeline, which I'm very excited about. But that will probably take about 3-4 months.
Okay.
So, yeah. Busy girl.
Yeah. No, it sounds good. And you've certainly got a lot to offer people, partly from your expertise, but also your life experiences, all wrapped up with the knowledge that you've learned through that. And the things, with the marketing, with the way you help people break out of the comfort zone as well. Lots of different reasons why people should have a conversation with you and find out more about you, I think.
Thank you so much.
I'll leave that for them to do. But yeah, appreciate you sharing time with us today, and look forward to when you come back.
Thank you. I'll come back anytime. You just say when.
Sounds great. Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for listening as well. As always, we encourage you to be proactive. So some of the things that Lynn shared has obviously resonated with you. So make sure you put them into practice. Start thinking, start dreaming, start imagining if you haven't been. If someone's told you and shut you up and told you not to do that, change that. Start visualizing something. Set daily habits that can help work towards your goal. Explore why maybe you react to certain things the way you do if it's negative. Lots of different ways you could take this, but definitely make use of this. Listen to it again. You don't catch everything the first time. At least I don't when I hear stuff. So definitely listen to it again. But that's all for now. So we will catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukai.businessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.